just finished day one with the students. Year 10, we got into planning or setting up the statement of intent for their major projects. Year 8, we're still just trying to finish off the pinball machines, and then we're going to move into the food unit this term. Now, I just had year 11 construction. My budget is shot. And while I did buy that stack of pine and construction timber, but I really want to try and reuse the stuff that I've got, the materials, if possible. Now, thankfully on Evidence Central, they've been adding more projects for Task 3. Now, my guys still have not done Task 3, which should have been last term. And I started looking at the carpenter footstool, but it's a great looking job. But I think, to be honest, it might be a little difficult for the kids I've got. Some of them are really just having trouble with the small nail box. I thought of ways of trying to make the toolbox that I've done with the kids, which is massive, it's like 800mm long, it's heavy. I thought, is there a way of maybe just shortening that? And when I looked on today, there was a smaller version of the toolbox, just here, using 140 by 19, 140 by 12 pine. And I just sort of had a look at what I'd need. For this group, I would need 14 metres of the 19mm and about 31 metres of the 12mm. Now, I've got that much, but at the same time, I've got a lot of 15mm and 9mm ply here that could be used. And my thoughts are, okay, I've got a stack of 19mm pine here as well, just down in this room. So we could use that for the ends, use the 15mm ply for the base of the toolbox and the 9mm for the sides, because I've got all of that here and I just need to rip it down to the 140 wide and try and make use of what I've got here. I'd still have to cut down some stuff for the handle material, which was like 4 metres worth of 19 by 140, which would then get stripped down to 42 wide, so 19 by 42. At first, it has some little rebates in it. At first I went, well, rebates may not be the best way to go, but when I've looked at the way it's set out, I figured I could set up a router with that. And I've got a router down here with a straight cutting bit, and I do believe I have a fence made up down in the workshops that you can basically sit the router on and run it along with the cutter in it, and it will cut to the edge of this fence. So all you've got to do is line the fence up to a pencil line on your job, clamp it and clean out. And it just needs to have a 4mm deep rebate, but they need to be either 19mm thick or, sorry, 19mm wide or 15. So I'd be able to use that fence with this project. I've got them tomorrow, period 3, and providing I don't get extras or anything in the morning, I might be able to use the morning to set up, like prepare all this material, take it all down to the other workshop and cut it. Even in the new workshop next door, I don't have proper dust extractor on the saw, but I could run in there and use the saw. I'll just check on that before I leave. But then I need to basically test out the router, get the settings right, and then I think that might motivate the class to work a bit. So the way I think about it, they'd be using the drop saw to cut their pieces to length, router for the rebates, a jigsaw for cutting out or a drill and a jigsaw for cutting out the hole for the handle, and basically drill for assembly. Apart from when you think about, oh look, there's all this rebate fitting work, I think it'll create a stronger project for them because it's sort of all the little joints lock in rather than just having butt joints everywhere. But I think I'd like to try and make my prototype tomorrow morning, and or as much as I can. And just thinking, I just set this router up with a 16mm cutter in it, but one of the cuts needs to be B19. And unfortunately, I can't use a table router. The only type of table router you're apparently allowed to use in the Department of Ed is a table router with a sliding fence, like a sliding table fence on it. Just one of those safety things. I've had a bit of a think about it today, sort of got what I'm thinking in mind. If I do have a 3/4 inch or a 19mm cutter for this router and a guide rail fence already made for it, I'll use that instead. That might be easier. Anyway, it is the end of the day, and having had all those thoughts just now, I want to pack up and go home. Right, that was a worthwhile hunt around. Just spent a few minutes. What time is it? About 20 minutes going through the workshop. I had a stack of stuff down there. That stuff down there is either 12mm or really poor quality ply, which I think I got off a pallet once. This stuff is all 15 from old toolboxes. As you can see, we got some screw holes and stuff in some of them, and some that were marked out but never anywhere past the initial cut. This is all 9mm, and I worked out I need 34 pieces for a whole class, 36 including me. This is all 190 wide, so I'll just strip it all down to 140. Same with this. I've got 140 by 19 down there, quite a bit of it, and they only need to be 300mm long for the sides. The only stuff I really need to cut up is handles. I did find some handle material, which you might be able to just see down there, which is 50, but I don't want to touch that because that's what Year 11 used for the little box that they're still working on. See all those little pieces, that's old ends. I don't know what I'm going to do with those, but all of that stuff I already have. It's reusing material that can't be used for anything else, like in the immediate time. Actually, in terms of the handles, to make sure the handles are strong, I could get them to use this because I'm going to strip this down to 140. That'll leave a piece that's like 47. I'll strip it down to the 42, so we've got a nice little handle. It's plywood, it's going to be strong. I think this will all work. I just hope I get it all ready before the class get up to it, which I should. More reclaiming thoughts. Here's all the ends from past projects. Some that were just cut out, but nothing done with them. some that were cut out, started to mark and got a hole stuck into them, some that were cut out all the way to having the hole there, which there's quite a few because they were dismantled toolboxes. But that's the shape of the new toolbox that it's meant to be. This mark here is 295. On the project it says 300. But I could get the kids to do it to 295 as long as we mark a center line so that they can miss these sort of cuts. And what I will probably do is take all these into the store, into the workshop as well. Rip off the one side, set it to 140, rip it to 140, and then we can go about setting out the rest. This is 15 as well, which means I won't need to get a second router bit. I can just have that with the fence. Of course, then that bit will be 15 and 15. Like, yeah, I think this will work nicely. Good way to reclaim stuff. Yeah, there's enough pieces there for 40 ends. Definitely enough for the sides, way more than I need for the bases. It's a bit more prep time for me, but usually you have to prep this stuff anyway. So, plans afoot for tomorrow. Just under 2 hours, got all the bottom pieces cut to 140 wide, side pieces to 140 wide, some handle pieces to 40. They were left over from the bottoms, so they're 15 thick. All these ends, which range between ones that had a hole in the top, which are those, ones that didn't have a hole in the top, ones that had a hole in the top but was still rectangular, and clean ones that were just done. And I'm reducing the side of the toolbox, or the end, to 290, so it'll come about here rather than 300, which is sort of in the middle of the hole. So I've gotten my pieces prepared, marked out the holes. I've just cut the sides out. This was my old muck around stuff. Jack plane to get those cut clean. I will do a video of this because it's going to help the kids out, but at this point I'm just getting my practice in so I can show them how to do it when it's their turn. And I've obviously got to go and adjust all these measurements and that sort of thing in there. I doubt they'll follow this. They'll probably just follow my instructions. I found fence for the router, which was hidden in one of the storerooms. So I'm going to put a temporary timber fence on there so it goes right across here. This is only a 15mm cutter, so I can just right up against the fence, set the depth, and the kids can just clamp their job to this and run the router along it. It'll be much easier than trying to clamp another fence onto the top of your timber and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, found some extra fences in the storeroom. I think this is for one of the smaller Makitas. I'm not sure on that one. I'll figure it out. Recess starts in less than 5 minutes. I'm gonna go and have some before I've got them up after recess. Saturday arvo. It's been raining most of the morning and the night, but the sun started to sort of peek its head out around midday, and it's now 2 o'clock. Can you hear that traffic noise? Although part of, I think, is the train line now too. Like a coal train or something. So it's been going for a while. Like I'm over 2 k's from the highway and the train line, but lots of valleys which just make the sound carry. Spent the morning building, or should I say assembling, a laundry hamper that my wife had bought a while ago, and she got 2. So I was just starting on the second one, and she said, can you take the boys out while it's nice and sunny? So I'll finish that on the way back. I mean, when I get back. You see that caravan there? It was up on the road a while ago, and my assumption is like this block of land just got sold a little while back. And I think this person was going to live in the caravan a bit while they were working on the house. But do you see the tarp on it and that tree? I think that tree dropped on it with the wind we had like a week or so ago. And I can see another one dropped up on the ground. So that sucks. A bit colder this morning, or today, it's the afternoon. And I saw a post in a Blue Mountains group this morning showing that there was a light flurry snow up in Katoomba, which kind of explains the sharpness in the chill in the air. The sun's beautiful, but the wind's blown up, and so it just sort of cuts through you. Like, I've put my hood up just to keep the wind off my cheeks and my neck, and that's why Sam's got his extra little camo hoodie with a t-shirt underneath to keep him warmer. His Atterdog hoodie doesn't cover his chest, it kind of goes down like a v-neck type thing, and he's got no hair on his chest and the front of his neck. So try to keep him a little